welcome to the Isles, folklore, Scotland and the shadow of the Vikings. There are places in Scotland where the mist truly never leaves, islands where the sea crashes against ancient cliffs, where ruined stones still whisper old names into the wind, and where stories older than history linger beneath the earth. Long before modern roads, before castles, before written records, people here believed the land itself was alive, that the forest held spirits, that standing stones carried power, that the sea could give and take, and somewhere in the darkness beyond the horizon, the Vikings came. Welcome to the Isle of Magic podcast. I'm Dee Dee Monte, author of Isle of Magic, The Legend of Ainy Gilly. This is a story inspired by Scottish folklore, Norse mythology, ancient magic, and the wild beauty of the Highlands and Isles. In this podcast, we'll explore the legends, myths, and history and inspirations behind the world of Caelbrith. From the Fey courts and standing stones, to Viking invasions, curses, ancient relics, and the stories that still haunt Scotland today. So pour yourself a drink, a wee dram, settle beside the fire, and let's step into the mist and the legends. There's something about Scotland that feels ancient in a way that is difficult to explain unless you've stood there yourself, especially in the Highlands and on the Western Isles. This landscape feels untouched, raw, and almost watchful. You can stand beside a loch at dusk and genuinely understand why people believed in spirits, fairies, and gods hidden within the mountains. Folklore in Scotland wasn't just entertainment, it was stories of survival. Stories that warned people about dangerous waters, dark forests, long winters, and forces they didn't understand. Across Scotland, tales emerged of beings like the Selkies, creatures who could walk and shed their seal skins as humans and walk beneath the moonlight, or the Bean Nia, a spirit said to appear beside rivers washing the clothes of those destined to die. Then there was the Seath, what many would now call the Fae. Not tiny winged creatures, but powerful beings tied to the land itself, beautiful, dangerous, ancient beyond comprehension. Then there was the Kelpies, wild water horses that could drown a man who could just be walking along the side of the loch or the sea and be drowned in their ancient, terrifying way. And then the Vikings arrived. Beginning in the late 8th century, Norse raiders crossed from the North Sea from Norway in long ships that seemed to appear from the mist itself. To many coastal communities, they must have looked like ghosts emerging from another world. They were fast, ruthless, and unpredictable. But history is rarely as simple as conquerors and victims. Over time, the Vikings didn't just raid Scotland. Many settled there. They traded, married into local clans, built communities across the northern and western isles. Places like Orkney and Shetland became deeply tied to Norse culture for centuries, and eventually the bloodlines, the traditions, and myths began to merge. Celtic belief intertwined with Norse mythology. Old gods met new legend, which is one of the reasons Scottish folklore feels so layered and mysterious even right now. When I began writing The Isle of Magic, I wanted the island of Caelbrith to feel like it had existed long before the story itself began. An island shaped by history, old wars, by forgotten magic, the standing stones, the runes, and hidden relics. All of it came from my fascination with the way Scotland carries its history in the landscape itself. You can walk through the Highlands today and still find ancient ruins standing against the cliffs, weathered by storms but refusing to disappear. I think that's what inspires me most about Scottish mythology. It never feels truly dead, it feels sleeping, waiting. So I want to thank you for joining me for the very first episode of the Isle of Magic podcast. In future episodes, we'll dive deeper into the mythology of the Fae, cursed relics, Viking legends, ancient Scottish festivals, and the real folklore that helped shape the world of Kilbreth. So until next time, keep your eyes on the mist and listen carefully to the stones. Some stories are still waiting to be awakened.